Hey everybody, Jedi John here, and I'm super excited to be bringing you my review of Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. Alright, so first things first, I liked it. I didn't love it, and I didn't hate it. I've seen a lot of other critics kind of really riding that line of, this is the worst movie in the trilogy, it's garbage, nobody should see it, doesn't make any sense. People saying it's a cinematic masterpiece and it brings Star Wars to the conclusion that it deserves and all of this. And I'm kind of in the middle. As a diehard Star Wars fan, I absolutely love seeing Star Wars movies, specifically in the theater, and I enjoyed it for what it was. Thought it was fun. I thought the performances were good, specifically the main characters, Adam Driver as Kylo Ren, Daisy Ridley as Rey. I thought their dynamic was super interesting. That was carried over from The Last Jedi, which was really the best part of that movie. And then there's a lot of nice surprises and callbacks and some really cool action scenes. So overall, it was a good cinematic experience. I went with two people who aren't as big into Star Wars as I am, and they really, really enjoyed it. I, just so everyone knows, did not like The Last Jedi. I was not a fan of the choices that were made in that movie, of the way it was structured, of the plot. I really actively disliked that movie. So your mileage may vary depending on how much you like The Last Jedi. From this moment forward, consider yourself warned for spoilers, because we're going to talk about the plot, we're going to talk about the performances, the surprises, the twists, all the callbacks and things that were interesting. And so that way you can make an informed decision on whether or not you want to go see this movie. All right, so once again, spoilers from this moment forward. So the movie starts basically telling us that Emperor Palpatine is back alive. That's in the opening crawl. It's an interesting way of doing it. I wasn't really sure how that was going to happen because I had an idea that this was going to be part of the film. So the film opens, very quickly we realize that Kylo Ren is going to the Emperor's planet called Exegol to talk to him because he sees him as a threat. So we have bad guy going to talk to bad guy. Upon arrival, a lot of stuff happens. Kylo and him have a conversation. We find out very quickly that Snoke was just Emperor Palpatine. This is kind of like a big slap in the face to Rian Johnson because there's literally just like a vat of Snokes, cloned Snokes. But so that's the idea. The idea is that Palpatine has been on this planet for we don't know how long, presumably either since he was killed at the end of Return of the Jedi, or maybe even before then. There's some idea that this is a cloning thing. And overall, that's one of the big problems with this movie is that you watch it and it's beat after beat after beat after beat after beat. They're moving so fast because as soon as Kylo gets there, then we're with Rey, and Rey is training to be a Jedi with Leia. That's rushed, and then Rey takes off to go on a mission with Finn and Poe to try and find the Emperor because the Emperor has rebuilt a fleet of Star Destroyers with Death Star cannons on them. And in order to do that, they have to go find a box, and then from there they find another box, and then that box leads them to a third box, which leads them to a side quest. Characters that we've never met before are popping in and out, and they're fun characters. There's a little droid engineer named Babu Frick who's really funny and cute, and that's awesome. But there's other characters like Zora Bliss, and she's in the movie for like 5 minutes, and there's a hint of a backstory never fleshed out. So it's challenging because these characters are all interesting, these locations are interesting, the concepts are interesting, but everything is so rushed. if you look at The Force Awakens, the concept is there's these characters, there's a mystery box, there's Luke's lightsaber, there's a new Death Star. It's really a retread of A New Hope, which is fine, and people have knocked it for that. I'm not here to review that movie. But then you look at what Rian Johnson did. Bury the past doesn't matter. Okay, everyone cares about who Rey's parents are. Well, they're nobodies. All right, who is Snoke? He dies. The whole point of getting to Luke and giving him the lightsaber and he just tosses it away. All of those are interesting ideas. I don't know if they're Star Wars ideas, but they're interesting ideas. But they really kind of put JJ in a corner. There's no bad guy for the third movie. It's like, imagine if Darth Vader had been killed halfway through Empire Strikes Back. There's no story arc to keep it together. So that's really the challenge of this movie, is JJ is basically making two movies in one. So everything is packed together. And every time a cool idea is introduced or a callback is made, everything happens so fast. You're having a beat, you're having an emotional moment, something else happens, you're on to the next thing, because in 2 hours and 20 minutes, you have to cram 5 hours worth of storytelling. This is what happens when you don't have an overall sense of where your trilogy is going. This Star Wars trilogy really feels like they're making it up as they go along. So this movie gives you tons of great answers. Rey is a Palpatine. That's super interesting, but you barely have time to explore it, to understand it. We learn that Palpatine's still alive, that he's got a fleet of 10,000 Star Destroyers, each with a Death Star cannon on it. We learn that Leia is here and she's still leading, and then she dies. We learn that Luke actually does care about the Jedi and has Force Ghost abilities. All this stuff kind of comes flying at you. It's just like, whoa, all right. But there's just so much. And it does two things that I don't love in movies. One, it's full of MacGuffins. And then two, the idea that Palpatine has been pulling the strings all along. I don't love in movies when that's a central conceit. When there was something going on in the background that everybody knows about but the audience. JJ basically undoes everything super fast. So all those things that Rian was trying to put into his movie to be different, JJ basically says, no, that stuff doesn't matter. I want to move on with something else. Overall, I'd say that it's well made. It's beautifully shot. Music is great. The action for the most part is pretty good. Are you gonna like it? It's a good movie. There's some problems with it if you're a super fan. If you like just sitting in a theater and enjoying kind of fun, poppy storytelling, sure, absolutely, it's a good movie. I liked it. I didn't love it. People I saw it that are less into Star Wars than me liked it a lot more. And your mileage may vary depending on how much you liked The Last Jedi.
What are you doing there, 3PO?
Taking one last look, sir, at my friends.
All right, so that's my review of Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. Please feel free to leave any opinions you have about the movie in the comments below, or connect with me on LinkedIn. I'd love to chat with you about this, or any of the other things that we do here at Logical Operations, like instructor-led training materials, data science, cybersecurity, the stuff we normally make videos about. Let us know what you think. I'm Jedi John, and this time, may the Force be with you.